and he served in the Navy for 32 years. He was a Seaman. So I used to always ask him, what did he do? He would never tell me. He said, if I ever leave and go away on a duty, I would just call you and tell you, leave you a number to call. So then when he finally retired, we had a conversation, then we were able to talk about some things. But it's amazing for what our vets does for this country and how they serve this country. And that's why this country is in the shape it is in right now because of their service. And thank you very much. But, you know, this is game week for us. And the good, amazing thing about it is our players are really excited. And now you get a chance to, instead of them hitting one another for the last 3 weeks, they get to go out on Saturday and hit someone else. And Elon is a really good football team. But I told them, I said, it's not so much that we're going to always respect our opponent, but it comes down to how we're going to play. And then we're going to play with passion, or we're going to play with energy, enthusiasm. We're going to go out and play with great fundamentals and technique, but more importantly, just go play as a team and enjoy this. You only get 12 opportunities, and this is our first opportunity, and it happens so fast. And I said, you know what, you'll wake up one day and it'll be the end of the season, and you'll say, wow, what happened? You know, I've had the opportunity to speak to some of our seniors from last year. A lot of them have come back, and they come back to practice. You know, they always have that conversation, Coach, you told us it goes so fast. And yes, it does, and you got to take advantage of every opportunity given to you, every minute and every second that you have. But we're really excited. You know, I can't make any promises. I know sometimes people say, hey, what's your forecast? What do you think is going to happen? Only thing I just hope that happens is that each and every game we go out and we play and we represent this university the right way, and represent, and our teammates go out and just play within themselves. I told them, I don't need a great play. I just need you to take care of your job. We all have a job to do. Just do your job. But I am really excited for this team. We know we lost a lot last season, but also we returned a lot. I'm not one of those coaches who talk about it's a rebuilding. We never should have to rebuild here. We ought to recruit enough good players, which we have done, that we just reload. And now, you know, guys are going to pass on, but the next opportunity comes for someone else. But I still have a few more days left, so we get to prepare here. We still have the days left. Today is a Tuesday, so we're going to go out and just, you know, this is one of those days where we got to really grind it out. But the time that we've had in the last 2 weeks of preparing, the grind doesn't have to be as tough. But we know that mentally we got to get ready to play. And the last, you know, some of the times I know you heard me speak, and I said I wasn't very happy about some of our practices, and I wasn't, because I expect more, and I want them to expect more from themselves. But very excited about it, and just look forward to the challenge. But we have to get our fans, and we have to get them out to the game, because that's what's going to be critical for us.
Charlie, can you talk about the decision for the starting quarterback and what went into that?
I thought that would be my last question. Well, the quarterback position, you know, Blake Barnett is going to be the starter, and not so much it came down to, you know, this guy with this guy. They all had this evenly distributed reps, and then it just came down as a decision. And I told our offense, you know, we need to make a decision on the quarterback, because the team needs to see who's going to be the guy, and for just every day, just who's going to run the team, and this is the person we're going to count on. But when you keep rolling guys out, you know, now they got to get a feel for him, and here's our guy, and that's the decision we came with.
What does that Blake bring this game?
Well, you look at it, he's, you know, I know he's been a few trips around, but when he comes in here, and through the whole process, he actually contacted us and said, hey coach, I want to come in and transfer. But, you know, he's been in the game before, so he's played a lot. And not saying that Brett or Oladokin couldn't have done it. You know, they're still also, and I told them, I said, even though we have picked a quarterback, you still got to go out and compete each and every day too. Because I said, it's one position. You think about it on your football team, there's one position that you just got, it's only going to be that one guy. You know, wide receivers, you could rotate guys in, running back, you rotate guys in, offensive line. But with the quarterback position, you got to go with someone, and you got to stick with them.
Do you think that naming a starter has helped the continuity in the practices since you decided that?
Yeah, well, it's gonna help the continuity because the guys are gonna know when you call out ones now, here comes the guy that steps up. And you needed that continuity and so that, like I said, the offensive line knows now who's their quarterback as well as their running backs and wide receivers. And the great thing about it is that, it was a really good battle, and that's what I said, I don't ever want to talk about rebuilding, reloading, that we have options, and we have guys that can step out to, not only that position, but I look at our running back position, when you can line up with Cronkite, you can line up with Bell, you can line up with Mack, you can line up with a freshman, and Johnny Ford, you have Sands. Offensive line, I know we lost some guys, but still, you can line up and you look outside with Norman, you go Atterbury, you go Mays, now Wiggs at center, you go Harris. So there's 5 guys that can go out and compete for us. And then wide receiver, everybody knows McCants for the way he drugged the guy in this Central Florida game, but there's still Solomon. Bronson has had a really good camp for us, and he's back. St. Felix is probably the biggest surprise for us at camp right now. And Dukes is playing well, Jannard Phillips is playing well. Really good competition. Tight end, I don't know if there's a better player in the country right now than Mitch Wilcox. I mean, what he brings and the things he can do and just how valuable he is. But then we lose Kano, and then, you're sitting there and you're kind of concerned now. Lloyd has beefed up and has really come on for us and is really having an outstanding camp for us. And then, you add, we were able to add some guys there at that position. So now you're looking at your offense and you're saying, you know what? We should be a really good offense. We got numbers, we got experience. And then on the defensive side, we lost 7 starters. So up front now, I was telling our defensive line with Bronson and Kegler inside, and with Reeves, who's played a lot of football for us. And now Vince Jackson has had a good camp. Even Brown and Black both have come on and had a really good camps for us. So we feel pretty good. And I said, if there is a strong position for us on our football team right now, it's got to be our defensive front. Because there's a lot of numbers there, and it's a lot of guys that have played a lot. Now the linebacker position, it took Sawtell is really having a good camp for us, and he's doing really good. And then I took McGee and moved him from the secondary to linebacker. We actually did that last year in the Central Florida game, but he came to me like 3 games, was 7th game last year, and he says, Coach, I want to move to linebacker. And I said, you sure? And I said, I've been trying to get you to move there. Now, are you really sure you want to move? He said, yeah, I want to play. I said, well, I've been telling you that. You're not going to play. You need to move where you can play. And he's really had a really big camp for us. Then you have Boyles is going to be an outstanding player for us. He's a freshman. Greer, Johnson. And then you go back in the secondary. Ronnie Hawkins is probably, you don't like to say, because Ronnie's not very big, he's actually shorter than I am, but you don't ever want to say that your leadership's going to come from a little guy, because you like for it to come from a big guy, so when you hear his voice, but Ronnie has done a great job. And then you look on the outside with Wilkins, Massey's having a good camp. Hamp has really came on for us. And then Javon is a staple. LaPointe, Bentley Sanders is probably, of all the secondary, has really had one. Then I took D'Lo and I moved him from wide receiver to the secondary. So we feel pretty good about our defense. We won't be big, but we have enough speed where we can run. And that's the thing, if you can run people down, you have a chance to go track them down. And then with our kickers, Ossie's going to be our punter, Snyder, he's going to be our punter. And then Vivinetto and Weiss is still battling out. And also with Stone, all 3 guys are battling out for the kicking duties with extra point field goals. So you look at our team, and I know that we will be young, but even a lot of times, if you just, we put them in the right position, and as a coaching staff, we're going to have to do that, then it's going to give us a chance.
Did Blake, we talked to Blake 2 Saturdays ago, and he said he was picking up the offense pretty fast. Does that come with him having some experience, the way he carries himself? What have you noticed him just coming in and picking up the offense, Coach?
I walked out here one night, and it was, it's probably 9 o'clock, and we had practiced early that day, and everyone was gone, and so I was leaving out, and I walked out of the building, and Blake was sitting outside, and I said, what are you doing? He said, I'm waiting for as we all know, he's married. He said, I'm waiting for my wife to pick me up. And I said, well, he said, I've been up here in the film room because I got to pick this office up, Coach. But that just shows you, because where he's been around, he's a vet, so he knows he's got to pick it up. And with the other 2 quarterbacks, and like I said, and it's not like, the guy just came in as an overwhelming favorite that we got to take this guy. I mean, he's got to be our quarterback. But, he's a guy that studied it, and he had to catch up because he's only had so many practices So he wasn't here in the spring, he didn't go through spring training. You know, my man arrived here in May, so we get him into classes and get him going. But he has done a really good job of coming in and learning and picking it up.
Charlie, you have two other guys who have put a lot of sweat equity into the program. They're popular among their teammates. Were you concerned that this decision may create friction in the locker room?
No, you know, a lot of times that is one of your biggest fear because they have developed those relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And so once you develop a relationship, you just don't know what clique they're in. So, okay, if that guy's in that clique, then, or that set of guys gonna be mad that we didn't select him. But it wasn't like that. Like, when you wanna win, I think that you set all of that aside and you look at it, and they were smart enough to look at it and say, okay, who's gonna be the guy? And it was never where it came down to, hey, we're gonna have some guys upset. And even me, I just try to get a feel for the team and see what the pulse was. And I asked some guys, I said, okay, if he comes to whoever comes out, are you guys gonna have an issue with? You know, and still we're dealing with selfish young players. Heck, as long as you get them the ball somehow, they don't care who's back there. If I could throw it anywhere and I was a quarterback, they'll be happy about it. But no, it never came down to that. You would feel like it because there's guys, they have been here, you know, they've already developed those relationships. And I told them, I said, guys, it's not like you don't ever feel like because you've been in a program 3 years, it's your job. But no, it's you go to win that job. And I said, just look at some of these other positions. We have some very talented freshmen that have come into the program, and they're going to step up and they're going to be some really good players for us. And I said, so don't be, and I tell the freshmen all the time, the best thing you do is just go to work. You don't need to say anything. You just let your work do your talking, and then you're going to have a chance to play.
Charlie, Elon, you talked about some of the challenges they pose. I know Kurt Signetti, that team break through last year in that conference. It's tough to break through. So what are some of the challenges you think you're facing against them Saturday night?
Well, I know Signetti, and I know he's an outstanding coach, and his team is going to be well prepared and going to be a very well coached football team. But you look at them on offense, they return the quarterback, and even a running back. You know, the running back rushed for 260 in a game last year. So we're going to have to be able to tackle. We're going to have to get lined up. And I always look at it on defense. You got to get your feet in the ground. And if you're able to get your feet in the ground, you get off blocks and run to the ball, and we're going to have to tackle well. You know, offensively, we're going to have to create explosive plays. And we're going to have to be able to get the ball in our playmakers' hands and let them run with it. You know, protect the quarterback, because that's going to be we can't allow a quarterback to get hit. But I always tell our guys this, is that we have to go out and we have to play at a level where we play. And don't be concerned about the other team. Don't be concerned about who you're playing. You just have to you got to go play. And I always look at it, just look at yourself. You know, you have to look at yourself and just say, am I giving great effort? Is it hard work and effort? If we get the hard work and effort, then we have a chance to go away and play with some passion. Then I won't be as concerned about who we play, because then now I'm going to be able to watch our guys just go out and perform.
Looking at this conference, Coach, do you like this team kind of having that underdog mentality as opposed to last year with the target on your backs? Now you guys are kind of being able to look a little bit.
You know, it just depends on the team. Like last year's team, I didn't mind it at all because I felt like we had a really good football team. And so it was more of us. You know, I think back last season, and you're right, here we are. And early, I think we read too much about how good we were going to be. When you go out to San Jose and you're down 16-0, and we're a better football team than that. And so you're sitting there like, hey, we just stay in there, you know, guys. And I don't think we've ever been in that position. And it's so funny, I was talking to our guys today in the staff meeting. I said, if you had to walk down that sideline, you would have thought there's no way we're going to come back and win this football game, because, you know, it kind of shocked them, like, okay, we're down 16-0. And then we were able to put it back together and had the quarterback that we had. But, you know, with this team here, it's you know, because of the position we're in and what's around us, now we have to go play. We have to go make a name, and we have to go do that ourselves now. So it's more about us going and go play now. But, you know, each and every week go out and compete. And if we're as good as we think we are, then we'll make those steps. If we're not, then we won't ever be able to get there.
You mentioned San Jose State, the disappointing first half. Is there anything you guys are doing differently in this preparation week than you did last year this time to kind of avoid something like that?
It'd be hard for me to remember last season. I mean, during the preparation week, but you know, the San Jose, it was just now you're playing. I know it's Elon, but now you're at home. I mean, I think going out there, you're on the road. I think we went out there on a Wednesday, without their practice, because we was trying to get them just acclimated to the time zone. But it was, you know, it's nothing different. It's just how we have to get them ready to go play. And then it's gonna be on us as a coaching staff. That everything we do, it's just that we have to be detailed about it. And you gotta make sure, because when you're dealing with a young team, you have to be detailed, because you're dealing with such a young group of guys. You know, a lot of times with vets, you know, they figure it out. Young guys don't figure it out. So you're gonna have to tell them each step along the way.
What's Blake's greatest strength, do you think?
Just, you know, because he's been around, and it's just his maturity, because he's been around. But, you know, you look at him, he has a really strong arm. You know, he can release the ball. And he runs a lot better than what we thought, you know, what we give him credit for. You know, I was shocked to see him, you know, run out there sometimes. Because he said to him, I'm faster than what you thought. I said, yeah, you are. And I never saw that speed. And also, you're looking at someone who's looking to prove to himself and prove to everybody else that he's a good player.
Coach, was this where Sterling came to you and said, hey, this is who I want to be our starter on Saturday, or how did that go down?
No, what I did is I walked in the offensive staff, and first what I did, because I'm always in the defensive room, I asked those guys, I said, who do you guys think should be the guy? And then I walked in the offensive staff, and I said, I'm not going to tell you guys what the defense said, but who do you guys think? If you had to pick your starter today, who would you pick? You know, I just went around the table to each coach, and I would say, why? And you know, so then Sterling and I sat down and then we talked about it. But what I didn't want to do is it all to fall on his shoulder, because I wanted to hear everyone else's opinion. Because I think that when you get everyone else's opinion, you know, guys are gonna, you know, at the end of the day, we're gonna pick a starter. But I'd like to hear what everyone else thinks and how they feel about it.
Was it a consensus that one was the guy?
I think that, you know, guys, I'm not gonna say it's a consensus, but guys had their, you know, each guy had a guy that they like. You know, because like I say, each one of them bring, like you look at Brett's strong enough where they know the offense and he can throw the ball, put us in position, and even Oladoka can beat you with his speed and throwing the football. And then, so you just try to say, okay, now who are we gonna be the guy where we gotta go and get ready to go play guys. We gotta make a decision here.
Do you have a QB2?
Do I have a QB?
QB2.
QB2. Well, I think that that's how the game goes. Who will come in next?
Do you have a long snapper?
I have a long snapper. I hope Denny can take a long snapper. It's a long snapper.
Do you think the way this team handled the loss of Quentin Flowers and Harvey Sanchez, they seem to take that loss as a challenge rather than saying, oh my God, we got to replace these guys? Do you think that's a sign of maturity of this team? And did they in fact do that? And do you think that's a sign that this team is maturing into a solid?
You know what I always say to a football team? Each football team has its own season, its own expectation, and what people expect of them. And whenever I have a team meeting, the seniors sit up front, and I say to them, you know, in another year you will not be sitting here. It'll be someone else sitting here. So you're just passing through.